to the podcast. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
Yes, not too bad. What about you, Ella?
Yeah, I'm all right. I feel like my brain at the moment is like wading through treacle. I find it sometimes a little. So if in this conversation I could go completely silent or talk even more nonsense than usual, then that's because my brain is very foggy today. But yeah, other than that, I'm brilliant.
Is that your perimenopause, love?
Oh, it must be. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Blame it on that. Blame it on the
Blame it
hormone.
on that. So Molly, we are so excited that you were able to join us today. And we want to just basically get straight in, get stuck right in, and ask you to share a little bit about what brought you to the work that you are currently doing, how you find your passion for it, and how it all started, really.
Hey, yeah, sure. Well, thank you so much for having me, first of all. And I guess my story is probably really similar to lots of people's in that I'm a mum, I've got two daughters, and I also am a human being with a body living in a culture that is quite appearance obsessed. And so I have my own baggage with that, like most people do. I am 41 now, so I grew up in the 90s, 80s and 90s. And when I was a teenager in the 90s, it was all about Kate Moss and yeah, the kind of like magazines, and yeah, there were every era has its own beauty ideal, doesn't it? And I think I when I became a mum, I just felt quite strongly that I didn't want my daughters to ever have to feel like the way that they looked was the most important thing about them, or even relevant.
Mhm.
Um, but I think also I was also a victim of diet culture and feeling like I should snap back, that whole kind of snap back, get your body back kind of thing. And I think that I went on my own had my own experiences of trying to change the shape of my body after I became a mum. But really, it wasn't about my body. It was more about trying to feel a sense of control, and trying to kind of get a sense of feel like, in a way, trying to get my pre-baby life back. So in a way of trying to get my pre-baby body back, it was really trying to grapple with that identity change. And I wasn't aware that that's what was going on at the time, but with hindsight, I can look back on that and I can recognize that that's probably what was happening. And I think it was a moment where I was doing like a quote unquote clean eating thing. And I was like weighing different food, and my daughter asked me why I was weighing spinach, and I didn't have a good answer for her because I didn't want to tell her the reason why, because I didn't want her to emulate that. And that was a bit of a reminder of what my values were and how I was wanting to raise my children, and how I'd kind of strayed from that a bit. Um, at the same time as all of this, I'm a journalist by trade. So I was working in the media. I worked as a radio presenter for many years, and then as a journalist and a producer. And then I was writing at this point for like parenting magazines and celebrity magazines. And I think that I didn't realize how deeply entrenched in that culture I was. And so I have a unique perspective in that I've been on both sides of it, as many people have. And I think that so then I started being really interested in body image as a concept, and how the way that we think and feel about our bodies really impacts how we show up in the world, how we treat our bodies, and the judgments that we make of other people. And I started getting really interested in the kind of cultural side of it. So I think being a journalist and being really interested in culture and society, and I've always been interested in that kind of stuff and that kind of lens. I was really kind of coming at it from, well, all these messages around us are at odds with the psychologists are telling us do this to feel good about your body, but how can you do that in the world when the world is telling you all these other things? And I became really interested in how these messages were specifically targeting children, because I became aware that as I was going through this process of trying to make myself feel better and unlearn some of these ideas and habits and actually come at it from a much more like from like a social justice kind of lens, I started to become aware of how many messages in the world were at odds, were undermining that with my own children. That was when I started campaigning on things like making like tighter regulations around the way that diet products are advertised around children. And then we, as part of that, did like round tables, started doing training with teachers. And it was after that that I then founded the Body Happy organization. And we're a social impact organization. We work with schools and families, and our thing is about creating classroom cultures of body respect. And there are kind of 4 key foundations for that. And yeah, we're still developing, like, you know, well, we've got lots of aspects that we already do, but we're now developing the UK's first Body Happy Schools program, which is the UK's first whole school program that like takes a full 360-degree approach to this, that doesn't just make positive body image a thing that students have to do themselves. I think that's quite unfair if we make it all about resilience building and we don't do anything about the environment and the culture that they're in. We're also looking at that bigger environmental cultural piece.
Wow, that is so amazing. So in terms of the organization, how many people are working with you? Because that's a massive, massive task, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a massive
To
task.
reach all of the schools is probably impossible at this stage. But so tell me a little bit more about how that works and how that looks in practice.
We've got a board. So I'm the founder and the executive director, and then we've got a board of, there's 3 other people who are non-executive directors on the board. We've got a GP, a teacher, and a project manager on the board. And then we've also got a network of freelance facilitators who have a range of different backgrounds. So in our team of facilitators, we've got another GP, we've got a body image researcher, we've got teachers, we've got mental health practitioners, a whole range of, we've got trained workshop facilitators who that's their day job. They go in and do workshops on other things like sexual violence, consent, that, you know, all these other kind of social topics. And what we're doing at the moment is we're working with the Fair Education Alliance. So the Fair Education Alliance is a coalition of 300 member organisations. They're a charity, and they are their vision is essentially a world where children, they're not limited by their financial background, and everyone has the same access to a good education. So they're committed to educational equality, and as part of that they run 2 awards every year, and they give a significant amount of funding to 6 winners. Well, this year it was 6 winners. I don't know what it'll be next year, who all have an idea that they will help develop that idea and fund the salary for the person leading that idea for 6 months. And in September, we were announced as one of 6 winners out of 90 applicants. Thank you. And so they are helping us develop our whole school program. And the idea is that when we've finished this incubator program with the Fair Education Alliance, next September, we will have this whole school program will have been developed, piloted, tested. And we will have, you know, a really solid you know, modeling around that. But we also we're very lucky in that we have good academic links. So we also have links with the University of Lincoln, Dr. Camilla Irvin, who is,
she's brilliant. I love her. She's so good.
So she led a pilot study, impact study last year, and we are currently awaiting to find out if we've had, you know, success with funding. But we want to, that was like the first of hopefully many projects where we will really look at how we can, and that academic research will hopefully then help to inform wider policy around these issues.
Wow, that is so needed. It's really interesting because I think those programs they're so needed as an antidote to all of this National Child Measurement Program and all of that stuff that's going on. Also, I used to actually, in my previous life, I worked for the Healthy Schools team. So it was a very different narrative that we used then. But it was one of those things that felt very short term, because it was always dependent on funding. So how do you foresee this working? Are you just basing it on volunteers going into schools, or is this something that will be funded?
Yeah, we don't work with volunteer. All of our facilitators are paid.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And we get loads of people who want to volunteer for us, but we don't really take on, we don't have the capacity at the moment to have lots of volunteers. Yeah, schools will pay for it. So it will either come from school budgets, it will be subsidized for schools that have 50% or more pupil premium. So if they have 50% or more pupils who are getting free school meals or who are looked after children in care, then we will subsidize the program. But we're also seeking funding so that some schools will get it fully funded. It might be that some councils have budget and can commission the program or aspects of the program. So at the moment we have been commissioned to do small bits of training. So we just recently delivered some training we reached 41 secondary schools and 9 primary schools. And that was organised by a local council they basically paid for 8 workshops that were delivered online, and a delegate from every school in their area could join. But we didn't just do that. That package included training for secondary schools and primary schools, but we also did a session for school nurses. We also did a session for youth leaders, and we also did a session for the early years teams. So we are very much looking at, really the schools is the biggest impact that we can have, because we can reach most children there, but we're also looking at the other services. We just recently did some training for a public health team, and also the schools program will include like a resources and support for parents and caregivers as well. But yeah, it will be essentially, we're a social enterprise. Yeah, so the way that a social enterprise model should work, if it's working well, is that you reinvest 50% of your profits back into the community that you're serving. Now, we're not profitable, financially stable at the moment. We're still new, and actually social enterprise third sector, no one has any money. Education has no money, health has no money, like social impact organizations, like budgets are always tight everywhere. But it's, it will be, schools can pay for it. Schools do have some budget, depends how they prioritize it. They can use some of their primary schools can use some of their PE and sport budget because of the links with sport engagement. We know that when children feel better about their bodies, they're more likely to engage with sport and extracurricular activities, and there's a strong evidence base behind that. So this model is currently in development. So what we're looking at developing is like an in-person version where we have a facilitator who goes in to their local schools and works really closely with the schools, and then having like a more of a virtual distance version that schools, like a package. And we don't know what that's going to look like yet. We've only just started working on it, so
I mean, I think the schools are where kids spend so much of their time, and it can be a massive influence in terms of their experience of moving their body, of sport, of PE, and of food, in terms of nutritional science, how they're taught, the whole shebang. And I think so in my experience, it's really getting the school to take it seriously has been difficult. And, obviously schools have really tight budgets, but there is a priority. There's a level of priority that they're maybe not giving to body image and kids, and promoting body image in school because of the belief around weight and children's weight and health, etc. And I think that's certainly my experience I met with the head of my daughter's school recently. I told you this story, Molly, but my daughter had an enrichment day for science. So not for any other subject, where they brought along scales and they offered the kids the opportunity to come to the front of the class, weigh themselves and calculate their BMIs. And these are 14-year-old kids. And in the class that they did this, 3 of the kids had eating disorders. None of the parents were informed previously. And my daughter, who was in recovery from an eating disorder, had been blind weighed for 2.5 years. And that was the first day she found out her weight. So, as you can imagine, I was outraged and had a meeting with the school. The school were very apologetic, incredibly apologetic, and said, we will make sure this doesn't happen again. The teachers have been spoken to. And then I presented all of the information you had given to me so kindly. And it's so accessible, Molly. You can go in at so many different levels, and they just wouldn't entertain a conversation. It was like, well, we have so many other priorities that it's, and they said, we will speak to our staff. We will. And I'm like, I don't think that's enough. And, you know, and I said, I'm going to keep in contact with you. And they said, please do that. And I guess it's just about, I don't know how to get the school to understand how important this is for the culture, for the community, it's a bit of a head bang against the wall. And it makes me quite upset. I'm getting very red under my makeup.
It's very, very hard. And I would say, don't give up, because even that conversation that you had will have had an impact. In terms of, so there are a few things. There are many challenges and barriers to this work. I think that most people who work in the space of health, fitness, body image, including academics and researchers and people, everyone has this idea of, oh, well, they just need to do this, or this is a really lovely and nice initiative, and we'll get into the schools and do this. And I think that it's very important that within this work, if you're wanting to work with schools, you have to have people within your team who actually work in schools and know what schools need and are actually part of that educational landscape, because actually the education system is broken. It's a mess. Just we've got a very fractured NHS and health system, but actually the education system is in crisis as well. You know, and that's why organizations like the Fair Education Alliance exist. And teachers have an incredibly difficult job. So I'm married to a teacher, and I'm the daughter of 2 retired teachers. My dad was an assistant head. My mum was a drama teacher and a head of year. My auntie was a deputy head. I'm literally the only person in my family who's not a teacher. My sister is a doctor. So like within our family, we've got people who've worked in media, education, and health, these like societal kind of pillars. And one thing that I feel really passionately about is that currently we've got all these different parts of society that are very separate. So education, kind of to massively kind of generalize, education will often see body image as a health issue. And so it should be health that are putting the money into this, or, you know, it's not any of our concern. Health will see something like this as an education issue, because actually it's happening in schools. It's not about an intervention for children who are struggling. It's about prevention and culture change. And actually, it's an education and a health issue. And it's also a media issue. Yeah. And I think that it's really important to recognize that teachers, their workload is they've got, you know, they're dealing with a saturated workload. Their cognitive load is massive. Every school has different priorities, and every school has a different senior leadership team. And so, and also like the structure of education, we have lots of different types of schools. We've got some schools that are academies that are part of trusts. We've got some schools that are run by like the local authority. We've got independent schools. We've got lots of different types of schools. And so what we are building with this program is a model, like essentially 2 versions of it, that when the schools are ready to engage, that it's there for them to engage with. And what I would say is we work with a lot of schools already, and we've had no issues finding schools to pilot the program. We've had to turn people away. And so actually we know that the demand is there, but it really depends on the school. And it depends on the leaders within the school, and it depends on what the challenges within that school are. A couple of things that are useful to know, I think, for anyone who has a child in a school or who is part of the education system, is that body image is an educational equality issue. The way that children think and feel about their bodies directly impacts how they treat their own bodies, as well as how they treat other people whose bodies don't function or look like them, as well as how they show up in class, as well as if they show up in class. Body image is an academic attainment issue. It's an attendance issue. It's a safeguarding issue, as you've just shown, Christine.
Yeah.
And it's a well-being issue. The problem is that at the moment, the education system tends to see body image as a well-being issue and a well-being only issue. And so it's a PSHE thing. You know, we just do one lesson in the year on body image and then that tick box. But actually, when they understand that body image impacts every aspect of a student's lives, and actually can impact their exam results, and it can impact whether they show up for school, and it can impact whether they take part in PE. When schools understand this and they realize that actually it's kind of a core foundation, and doing all of the things that we like, having some awareness and training on it, it's not even about implementing an extra program of like having to build in loads of stuff. It's about having awareness. So when you're doing that day of science, your staff know not to plan an activity like that, because they have training. They've done a 2-hour workshop that gives them some insight into this subject. Teacher workload is a massive problem, which is why the program that we're developing is like the kind of the in-person one is all third-party delivery, and the other version, the online version, will be like videos and things. So there'll still be an element of third-party delivery. We're not asking teachers to plan lessons. We've got these, it's off the shelf. We've got it. There you go, go and use it. But yeah, there is, I think that before any of that change can happen, the kind of ultimate foundation for that change to happen resides on two things. And that's the school being willing to engage with the subject and prioritizing the subject. And then the other thing is the school like actually seeing it as an important thing and messaging that messaging coming from the staff. So you really need to have the senior leadership team on board, and that can take a while.
Yeah.
And it won't necessarily happen overnight, because they've got loads of other things that they're doing, you know.
I know. Yeah.
But I can totally see as a parent, it's very frustrating when you're raising things and you want the schools to kind of, you know, embrace these. There are schools that are, but it's not.
Well, it's more about that actual causing harm. So it's, you know, schools can be an environment where, you know, obviously there's so many different things kids are coming up against in school. As you say, my mum's a teacher. Teachers have an incredibly hard job on their hands, but to send your child to school, you don't expect them to come home and have, you know, it's literally, it's a safeguarding issue, and that was causing harm. That enrichment day caused harm to a number of kids, and that's why it, for me, needs to be taken a notch higher and a step further. And it's really helpful just to hear what you've said, just to reinforce that. And I will be taking it back to the head, who is absolutely lovely and open, but just, I think, needs a little bit of gentle encouragement.
I think it's really difficult, because I think what Molly, what you said right at the beginning is that there's the media, the education system, the NHS, and unless they all work
together,
sing from the same song sheet, it's going to be so difficult, because the school can do whatever they want and the best work around body image, but if, say, the media then still, you know, vomits this weight-centric narrative all over us, it's really difficult to take a step back from that. And if the NHS then sends in school nurses that haven't got a clue about body image and you know, weight neutrality, you have to fight it from all angles, so to speak, right? You have to kind of come to it from top down as well as bottom up, I feel. Otherwise, it's just not going to be or it's going to take a lot longer, even if it's amazing stuff. But I think we need to sort of make sure that all of the different aspects are covered. And it sounds like your program does that because of the stakeholders that you've got involved.
Yeah, and the fact that we do, you know, we've done training for school nurses, which is great, and we've done training for public health teams.
Exactly.
And you know, I say that this is lifelong work. Unfortunately, culture change doesn't happen overnight. It's not, and it's frustrating when you're working at like the front end of it, because you want the really, we need to not have to exist as an organization. If we're truly successful with our mission, we won't need to exist. I also have to accept that we are one piece, we are one cog in a much bigger machine. And so the likelihood that we will need to exist, you know, whether we can still continue to exist as long as we're needed is another story. But the fact I anticipate that the demand and the requirement and the need for us to exist is not going to go away anytime soon. And I think that there's something really useful that I heard recently. We, in our training with the Fair Education Alliance, we were talking, all of the other winners, we all are social impact organizations. So we're all trying to tackle the root causes of some really big issues. I'm looking at body image. One of my colleagues is looking at child poverty. Someone else in the team is looking at diversity within the medical system. Like, these are like big issues, but we are all just one organization. So it's looking at, okay, what are the root causes of some of these issues? So thinking about, okay, this is happening. Well, why is that? Asking, there's an activity called the 5 whys, which we did, which is great. And you just literally come to like the bottom, kind of the core kind of root cause thing. And that thinking about it in that way is really useful, because it can help you see where your thing fits into the bigger picture. And it can also help you ensure that you're not just dealing with the symptoms, you're actually trying to tackle some of the root causes. And I think there are some brilliant body image initiatives that are happening around the world. And they're really great, but I do still think that we are stuck in this symptom kind of period where we're looking at symptoms, we're trying to put sticking plasters on things, we're focusing on like building resilience, for example, rather than actually, you know, yes, the media, yeah, great, journalists should have training on this as well. That isn't what we're doing, that isn't our field of interest, but actually hopefully the more that we talk about these issues and the more that I'm invited onto like telly and radio to talk about these issues, that's also making an impact as well. We've got some amazing journalists who supported our work and written about us. But it's incremental kind of things. And I think that what we're trying to do is that kind of bigger culture change piece and get to some of those root causes. So, okay, we might not be able to stop the Daily Mail from having their sidebar of shame and commenting on celebrities' bodies, but we can ensure that those messages around health and what constitutes a good and bad body aren't reinforced and perpetuated in the school environment.
Yeah.
We can ensure that children are given the skills and tools and help develop these skills to actually think critically about some of these messages. And we can have conversations with parents and caregivers about how we can affirm some of these messages in the home environment as well. And we can have conversations with public health teams around, okay, how can we promote, you know, how can we do health promotion in a way that isn't perpetuating weight stigma? And these are where we've got, you know, conversations with amazing colleagues in public health teams. I want to do a big shout out for Doncaster Council, because they're doing some really great work in terms of like weight stigma reduction and positive body image, and really kind of thinking about how to look after the people's health and promote health without making their health worse, you know. I would say that this work is happening, but yeah, it's not going to change overnight. And I think that it's quite easy in the social justice space, particularly online. There's a lot of people online. There's a lot of people sharing online courses and building Instagram accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers, and, you know, building a profile and a public profile and writing books. And I reckon I'm part of that noise. I recognize that. But I think that we have to be really careful that we don't try and distill these really complicated issues into like a quick, oh, well, this is the fix, without having any recognition of the wider picture.
Yeah.
Because actually, that's not going to make it. That's not going to make change. We're not going to get change that way. We have to meet people where they're at. We have to look at these systems and think, how can we work? You know, for me anyway, for the work that I'm doing, I'm wanting to go into schools. I have to be aware of how the education system works. I have to be aware of how schools work. You know, so, and I have to be building something that allows, you know, that is able to work within the challenges and limitations and barriers of that wider system. And it's really difficult. It's so difficult. I get very frustrated when people are like, well, you should just do this. I'm like, if it was that simple, we'd all be doing it. Just like, you know, with diets, oh, just do this X, Y, Z. You know, it's the same thing. There is no quick fix formula to fix society.
You're just sort of going, I don't know if this is a tangent, but I'm just looking at that book behind you, Molly. Now that is written, this is your new book, Everybody, which is written for children 9+. Is that right? And, you know, I know from the work that I'm doing, I know that there's two peaks. They say there's two peaks of body dissatisfaction, which is puberty and perimenopause. And my daughter started struggling with her body image pre-pubescent, so just as she was about to hit puberty. And I have seen so many of her friends struggling in exactly the same way. And I'm wondering, was 9+, is that really targeted at those kids, the pre-pubescent kids were, or what, why 9+? I'm just really interested in that number.
So my first book was for parents and caregivers and teachers and anyone who works with children. And it was about how we can create, you know, how we can raise children to feel good about themselves and other people. And I knew that I wanted to write a book where I was speaking directly to children and young people. And initially, I thought it would be a book for teenagers, for that next kind of bracket up. But the more I started researching it and started speaking to like schools and our community of, you know, teachers and schools that we work with, and then also like polling parents and things, became really apparent that there was a gap there, and there was something that there are books that are really great picture books that are about celebrating body diversity and thinking about, you know, some of these, you know, issues like weight, stigma, etc. And there are some books that are great, kind of more like educational resources, almost like activity books or like handbooks, very interactive. You write in them, you have activities and things. But there wasn't a book that was distilling all of the stuff around not just body image, but also, you know, how our bodies change and puberty. There's a whole chapter on puberty, so there's like science stuff in there, but also like the social stuff, the, you know, the history of fat activism, what weight neutrality is, you know, thinking about social media, all of these things. There was nothing that was kind of bringing all of that stuff together, and that was the book I felt that would have been useful for me. So my daughters are 14 and 10, and it was a book that I felt would have been useful to help me talk, you know, I wanted the kind of conversations that we're having, wanted to kind of create a resource for that either parents could use with their children, but also children could read themselves and just dip in and out of. And I wanted it to be funny. I wanted it to be joyful and not like a big boring lecture, because no one wants that. Especially not when you're competing with TikTok and YouTube for their attention. Yeah, and I think that age group, that middle grade kind of age group, is often a bit of a forgotten one. And I know that from the workshops that we do, if we're invited in just to deliver like 1 or 2 workshops, then it's often year 5 and 6 that we're invited in to talk to. And I think, or year 7 and 8. And I think that it's because that age group is, yeah, it's a pivot. Their bodies are changing, and
Bodies are changing.
yeah,
I really watched, I saw it through the lens of my daughter, through her eyes. So she was a kid that would wear what she wanted and had that internal lens, the internal locus of evaluation, or whatever you want to say. But she just did what she wanted to do, and she was confident. She went out there, wore what she wanted, broke the school rules left, right, and center. And I saw this gradual switch where she started to see how other people looked at her. So it wasn't how she looked at the world, it was how the world looked at her. And it just is exactly that, between those years, between kind of 9 and 12, were those pivotal years that I just observed that change. And obviously COVID didn't help. But I think that's why I was so intrigued that it was 9+, because I think teenage years, I think the root of it all is there. By the time they're teenagers, I mean, you can still absolutely do amazing work with teenagers, but if you can somehow get these ideas buzzing around their heads in year 5 and 6,
I mean, and before, like we did work right from reception and key stage 1, and we've done training for early years, you know, obviously with that age group, we're not talking about like beauty ideals and media literacy. We're not using that kind of language, but we're doing activities that really focus on like body appreciation and celebrating our differences, and you know, anti-bullying work around, you know, actually what and body boundaries, you know, consent, like those kind of conversations you can have. You can use but we use storybooks for those kind of age groups and creative activities, and you can start having those conversations, embedding those foundations right from when they're really little. If you think about Peppa Pig is an example that I often use, that we often use in our workshops. So children learn from a really young age that there are good bodies and bad bodies. And they learn that you can tell something about a person's character and personality based on the way they look.
Yeah. And
they learn that they don't want to play with someone because of the way they look. Like really these are like toddlers and 3-year-olds that the research shows that 3-year-olds can display anti-fat bias, and they are. So actually, if we can get in early and remove some of those messages, but also start to embed the foundations of thinking critically about some of these messages and kind of things that can mitigate some of these messages, then all the better. We're setting that doesn't mean that they're never going to struggle, because just like our bodies change, our body image changes. And so what I would say, you know, if a child is struggling now, it doesn't mean that they're always going to struggle. And there are so many different reasons why someone could struggle with body image. And I think that one of the big things that one of the big kind of outcome goals that we're working towards is helping schools also be able to identify students who are struggling so that they get that support earlier, because we know that early intervention is really critical. And we know that when we know that it's often not happening because things are like it's seen as so normal. It's just seen as so normal that actually, oh, of course children feel bad about their bodies. That's normal, isn't it? You know, and actually because it's so normalized, because it's so common, it's become normalized. And so there are children who, you know, we don't do counseling, and schools, like, unless they have a trained counselor in their school, it's not the teacher's job to counsel students because it's not in their area of expertise. They shouldn't be doing that. But what they can be doing is identifying if they think that there's an issue, having those conversations with parents and signposting to where the support can be had. And hopefully if those children get that support early enough, it will help in some cases stop it from becoming a bigger problem. Not all the time, because particularly with eating disorders, they are so complicated and they're so complex.
Yeah.
But in some cases, that early intervention, the evidence shows early intervention can really help. Unfortunately, we're still in a period where we're like putting out the fires. I want us to kind of focus on stopping those fires from starting in the first place.
I love that focus on prevention rather than, you know, trying to, as you said, putting out fires. I think that's just so not what our society does. Our society just wants a fix for something that's broken, but it's not looking at the slightly less sexy, oh, what can we do to not let that fire you know, burn in the first place. So I think I really love that you have really thought through all of that and sort of looked at where can we start? What's the seedling we can put in that can then germinate and grow? And actually, I suppose that is in essence what may bring about a cultural change, right? It's the prevention and the, you know, putting those things into place before something bad can happen.
And also the really like unsexy, boring stuff like business modeling. Like, is this a scalable solution? Is this a solution? You might have a really great idea, but is this a solution that can be scaled to reach lots of children? You know, what does that look like? How does that work? And this is, yeah, all of that has to be part of those considerations are equally as important as your problem research and thinking about like your theory of change and thinking about your program design. Lots of people have really great ideas, but if they haven't also thought about that stuff, boring nuts and bolts, really gonna make much impact.
No. Molly, before we let you go, because we could keep you here all day, it's already like way past what we were going to do. I would love to know, sort of in terms of how we can affect change at home. I often say to clients that that to help your kids' body image, it's really important to work on your own. And that is not to shame anybody who has brought their kids up in a way that no sugar, et cetera, or their kids have seen them dieting, etc. Because my kids certainly had throughout the first 6 to 7 years of their life. I was not in a good place in terms of food and my body image. And I kind of, similarly to you, there was a moment where I asked my daughter something about my body, and then I went, hold on, this is not okay. And I knew I needed to sort my shit out, excuse me for swearing, in order to help them. How would you suggest parents, would you say that would be what you'd recommend to parents in terms of that home environment?
Yeah, I mean that the home, that's a whole other
I know. That's a whole nother podcast. Come back.
home environment is obviously really important. And one thing that, again, that I say to schools, sometimes a barrier to engaging with this conversation is that it's not, health see it as an education issue, education see it as a health issue, schools see it as a home issue, home
Yeah.
school issue. Everyone's trying to pass the buck. And actually, when we look at it in that way, we're negating all of ourselves of any agency and authority and, you know, any kind of, it's such a disempowering way of looking at the issue. All of us, if we know children, whether we work with children, know a child, have a child, are in contact with a child or young person, are a member of this society, which is lots and lots of children, young people live in, we all have a responsibility, and that includes thinking about the home environment. So one thing that I always say, and I think that I think it's a good and a bad, it's good that more and more of us are talking about this subject, particularly online. I think that's a good thing because we're becoming more and more aware of terms like diet culture and appearance ideals and body positivity. Like there is a more kind of mainstream awareness of these conversations. However, I think that we need to be really careful not to make this like a mum problem. So, you know, it's
That's
often
what,
like something that is the mum's responsibility. Just wear the bikini on holiday. And if you don't wear the bikini on holiday, your children are going to feel terrible about their own bodies. You don't have to wear the bikini. If you don't wear a bikini on holiday, your children aren't going to grow up with bad body image necessarily. Like it's not. But there is evidence to show that actually when we role model positive behaviors and positively speaking about bodies, and even just not speaking the negative stuff, if we can just keep that to ourselves, that can actually be a really powerful, have a really powerful impact on our own children's body image. So, you know, the evidence shows that. However, I also think it's really important to recognize that we're all products of the culture that we've grown up in and that we're living in. And it's not, there shouldn't be any shame associated with this, and it's not something that you can unlearn overnight. So if there are people who are only just coming to the conversation and they've got 14, 15, 16, 25-year-olds and they're like, oh well, it's too late, oh I've done the damage. Not necessarily.
Mm-mm.
Actually, it can also be really empowering, particularly if you've got older children, to bring them in, say, "Do you know what? I'm learning about this stuff and I haven't always got it right. And I'm trying to not just make myself feel better, but I'm also realizing as I'm going through this journey that I've probably made mistakes in how I've approached this stuff with you as a parent. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily my fault because it's so normal, but I was wondering, like, maybe we could learn about some of this stuff together. And I think that what so often happens, particularly with parents who've struggled themselves or who've never had to think about this stuff, is that a child can go to a parent and they can say, "Hey, I don't feel good about my body. I'm ugly. Someone at school called me fat. What should, I don't like myself, whatever." And it's such an upsetting thing for a parent to hear. The parent immediately wants to make the child feel better and fix the problem. And they'll immediately say, "Oh no, you're not, you're beautiful, you're not XYZ," or, oh, and they can end up invalidating the child's experience, shutting down a conversation, sometimes even perpetuating the root cause of the problem. If a child comes to you and they say, "I'm fat," and you respond, "Oh no, you're not, you're beautiful." Well, what's that saying about a fat body? Like, and I think that actually sometimes we need to get a little bit comfortable with just not being comfortable and say, validate. Do you know what? It's really hard to live in the culture that we live in when there's people at school who are saying unkind things about the way other people look. And, there's Peppa Pig making fun of Daddy Pig's tummy on telly, and there's all these things, and all the princesses in Disney look the same, and all of this stuff is happening. It's hard, isn't it? And I've struggled with this stuff too. But I want you to know that just because you feel this way now, you're not always going to feel this way. And there are certain things that we can do to feel better. Shall we do it together? And I think that can be more validating.
Yeah.
Actually create a space where children are more likely to come to you, and rather than be like, "Oh, mum, of course you have to say that, because you're my mum, you have to say that,"
Yeah.
And I think, sorry, Ella, but just exactly what you said there. I see it all over Instagram. Your own body image is so important for the body image of your kids. And there is an element of shame in that. And women already carry so much shame about absolutely everything they're doing in terms of mothering and carrying the mental load of everything in life. And so I really think to take that shame away. And if, as you say, if you're coming to the conversation and your kids are already grown up, it's still amazing that you're coming to the conversation and just talking about it and just learning more about it. I think that's a great starting point.
I think the conversation can be held at any age, really.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can sort of tailor it to younger children, but you can also tailor it to your 25-year-old when you have a cup of tea together and you think, actually, this is what I found out. Let's talk about it. I think it's really important to sort of have that open channel from any age when anything like that comes up and they approach you with any question or comment or upset.
I think that just speaking to your point there, Christine, about how there's lots of people online, particularly talking to mums, often selling a course like to make them feel better, and it can be like a really, like, almost like a marketing tool. And like, if you don't do this, then you're going to damage your children. I would love to see some of these conversations aimed at dads, because actually, like, where are all the dads in this conversation? I would love to see some of these conversations talking to, dads about, "Hey, did you know that when you're talking about, go hard or go home, and, eating clean and doing this, like, workout at the gym, blah, 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 you could be reinforcing your son's internalized fat phobia, and he could go to school and make a comment on a girl's body and blah, like, oh, actually, this is way more complicated than just like, mums wear the bikini." Like,
it shouldn't, it does really upset me, and it's not a gender conversation, nor should it be, but this is the way it works currently.
Yeah, but I hear that so many times when I speak to clients. It's not just the mum that was dieting that was the sort of the trigger point for them to start having issues with food or body image. It's often the comments that the dad made and the deeply held beliefs that the dad shares that can be as harmful. So it absolutely isn't just a mum issue, just like it's not just a girl issue. It's about boys as well as girls. So it's for everybody. Molly, I've got a question for you. So
Ella, we have to wrap up, so hurry up.
I know it's a very quick one. Well, obviously we're going to share all of your details in the show notes, but if and I think there probably will be some people who work in education or very sort of motivated parents or someone who might be interested in joining your program once it's up and running, hopefully next September. How do they go about it? Is there a wait list? Is there somewhere that they can get registered?
So we already run workshops in schools. We already run CPD workshops for teachers. So all of that stuff is still happening. The Body Happy Schools program, this whole school, like bringing it all together into a fully comprehensive thing, there's no wait list. It's like, we haven't got that far yet.
Okay.
But if you go onto our website, you'll see all the things that we currently do. So we are already doing workshops with students in schools. We're already doing training for teachers, nurses, public health teams, all sorts of foster carers. We already have a suite of teaching resources that schools can download. And we already have like a bookshop and resources and posters and stickers. So all of that stuff does already exist. And we also have an online like webinars and masterclasses for parents as well. So the best thing to do is to go to our website. And if you want to get your schools involved and let your schools know about how we can support them now and in the future when the full school program is up and running, the best thing to do is to go to our website, go to the families section, and then click down to tell your school, and you'll find a whole page, a whole suite of information packs, template letters, lots of different things that you can use to let your school know about the work that we're doing and how we can support them.
That is absolutely awesome. That's so good. Thanks for doing all of that groundwork for everybody. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this podcast in itself is going to be an amazing resource for people just to come back to and listen. And we'll put all of that in the show notes. But for now, Molly, thank you so much for joining us. And we might have to get you back again in the future because there's a lot more to talk about, isn't there?
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.